Good morning. I'm excited about this build. It's going to be a fun one. It's pretty much free. You can go on to Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, whatever you like to nowadays. And everybody's got trampolines that are broken in one way or another, right? And they're just free. Well, it's free steel. So what I decided to do was, we had a trampoline that was old, started to get a little bit weary. And instead of throwing it out, I saved all the parts. Now my plan is I'm going to give this new life as a full-size soccer goal. Let's get to it. So, my plan is that I'm going to use all kinds of parts of this trampoline, this old trampoline, to make this new soccer goal. I'm going to use the netting that all of us good parents nowadays, not the parents like the 90s, I'm going to use the netting as the actual netting of the goal. Then I'm going to use the fabric of the trampoline itself as a rebound. That's the thought. So I'm realizing I barely have to do any welding at all on this. I'd say probably 75% of this I can use just the shapes that I already have, because it's all kind of coupling fitting style. Okay, first one's done. Now I just got to do the other three. So there's the full size of the frame right there. Now that frame is about 13 feet across. My fabric is going to be really close to being able to cover what I want to do, because I think I'm going to need at least something for the sides and then 2 pieces for the back. So it's 34 feet of fabric, so it's going to be real close. Fabric is 19 feet. Times 2. Okay, I've got the sides made up, ready to go. I need to figure out how I'm going to attach the cross bracing. Okay, I've got an idea. I'm thinking I'm going to try to make this sort of half clamshell, you can see that here, with the trampoline pipe. We'll give that a shot. So these little buggers are going to be tricky to ground for my welding because they're so small. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this chunk of old aluminum plate. I'm going to ground the plate and then should conduct through the plate instead of having to grab each one of these little things with the ground. Man, I love welding in this weather. It's like the perfect weather right now. Just as fall is coming in, so it's not too cold, because in the winter it sucks because you're working with metal and metal gets cold in the winter until you start welding, of course. And then on the flip side, in the summer, it's just hot. It's hot when you're working with welding. I want to show you this right here. You can see I've got good penetration into the metal. You can actually look and see all those little bumps. I was right on the line of falling right through. Right on the edge. All right, the clamshells are all done. Welded up, ready to go, except for one thing. I need to drill a hole so that I can compress them to do the capturing thing that clams do, all right? I'm gonna use these bolts that came with the trampoline. These were on the caps, you know, on the vertical pieces, they have these green caps that protect the top of the pipe. So this bolt goes through, and then there is a metal nut captured in the plastic there. So I'm gonna cut this all apart. I'm gonna use this and the nut to compress the clams. Okay, day 2. Initially, I wanted to build a rebound for this thing. I'm realizing as I build this, I don't think a rebound is gonna work. Now, my rebound I wanted to build was gonna use the springs of the trampoline, and then it was gonna use the fabric of the trampoline. It would take a hit from the soccer ball and the springs would throw the ball back. That was my initial thought. But the more I think about it, these springs are too rugged. They're made to throw a person in the air. That's what they're made to flex on people's weight. I don't know how much inertia a soccer ball is gonna be able to give to make these flex. So instead of a rebound, I'm gonna use sort of a ramp. So when they take a shot, have you ever seen the basketball ramps? When you take a shot with the basketball, it rolls the basketball back to you. I'm gonna do the same thing, but on a large scale for the soccer net. I'm gonna use the fabric still, and I'm gonna make an incline with the fabric. So when they take a shot, it'll roll down off the fabric and back to them so they can take another shot. They don't have to go retrieve the ball. So far, conceptually wise, this whole trampoline ramp thing is working out. The only thing I'm worried about is on my edges, it's a little bit too much. You see that? So I don't want them to have to try to retrieve the dang soccer ball every time they shoot it from behind the net. It defeats the purpose. I'm gonna try to add a little bit more springs to the edge here and kind of curve this out like a big bowl. All right, I like the concept of where it is now. It'll block and return 90% of the shots on goal. The ones that can squeak by are the ones that are in the sweet spots, that even if you had an active goalie, they would have a hard time getting those shots. Those are the sweet spots. The beauty of this setup too is that I intentionally put the zipper for the bouncy fabric on the back. So you can get in there if you want to. All right, I'll probably take a few more shots on goal, make sure I'm happy 100%, and then I'll start taking it apart to finish it up. All right, so it's coming out really good. I gotta go around and clean up the netting because the netting looks a little funny, and then we're gonna twist off all the tie wrap ends. Little tip for you, don't cut the ends off the tie wraps. Get a pair of pliers, put it right up tight against the tie wrap, and then twist it off. That'll leave a soft edge, not a sharp edge. All right, I got the netting all up. Looks pretty good. So I've got all my holes drilled, I've got the netting up and clean, and I painted all the pipes, just gave them a good spritz in with some black spray paint. So I'll give it maybe 3 hours, let it air out, and then I'm gonna put the fabric up and then really fine tune the fabric, make sure the fabric's right where I want. Then I'll label the eyelets of the fabric, and I might draw some targets and some other things on the fabric for fun. We'll see. Okay, I said this project wasn't going to cost you a dime. As long as you have a trampoline, you can build it. And that's still true. But I'm going to add one cost to the project. There was a request for a SpongeBob goalie. So $7 in spray paint. Okay, this was a really fun build. Even if you don't have a welder, you could pull it off. All you do is, instead of welding those clamshells that I made, you would just flatten the pipe and then bolt them through. So you could pull this off. You don't need to paint it, but it looks good painted. And you don't need to put the rebound in, but the rebound is a really big bonus. It holds up really well, and it's just a really nice way to repurpose something that would otherwise just get thrown into a heap. And honestly, this is just as good as buying a $300 one from Sporting Goods. So here are the things that I love about this. One, it was a free build. Other than $7 in spray paint, it was free. Two, it was an easy build. You don't even need a welder. Three, I love that the way I made this, you can break it down and store it or move it. The rebound is a really fun touch. Obviously it wouldn't work if you're using the goal with a scrimmage. If you're using the goal in a real game, I wouldn't have the rebound. But if you just have a couple of kids that are just taking shots, it's awesome. Things that I don't like about it. I don't like that the springs kind of pull the bottom edges in a little bit when you have the rebound in. Not the end of the world. It's just a small design flaw, that's all. If you're looking for a project to build with your kids, I would say this is a really fun one to build with your kids. You can assemble it together and then use it on day one. Total time to do this build was somewhere around 8 to 12 hours. That's what you can expect. Takes me a little bit longer when I'm doing all the camera stuff, but depending on how much painting you do, really the painting took just as much time as assembling the whole thing itself. This is a great weekend project if you want to pick up a trampoline yourself off Facebook and just build it on a weekend. It's a lot of fun. The next video, I took my old welding cart and I built a brand new welding cart setup. So stick around for the next episode and I'll see you later. On the flip side, in the summer, it's just hot. It's hot when you're working with welding. So spring and fall are like best. You can put a nice piece of FR on and you're not sweating through your chaps. That won't go on the video. Sweating through my chaps.